Are you gonna give me an
A
intro?
long time ago. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're gonna do the history of Star Wars. Are we starting with episode 1?
Episode 1.
Episode no.
No, not episode 1, episode 4.
Episode 4?
New Hope. That's where it started in the
There's
70s.
hope. Okay, so episode 4. So there's a bitch named Luke. And Luke is kind of a bitch. And he lives at his farm with Lars and Irma, I think.
Irma. Yeah, that's right.
Is it?
Right.
Okay.
Keep going.
Well, Irma, so he lives at his farm with Lars and Irma. And then he's looking up in the sky
And there are reapers everywhere. The
Two
reapers
moons.
attack.
shut up, you're adopted.
Tell them there's 2 moons, man.
There's only lights not from the
There are
Death
2
Star,
moons since they come from Mars.
but from the Star Destroyer. So he's looking up and there's like Star Destroyers and shit. So he sees the Star Destroyers and he's like, I could do that. And so he's like, I can do that.
Why does it sound like the beginning of Treasure Planet?
And so, what does Luke do? Luke goes and his family's dead. And Luke's family's dead. I don't know why I'm laughing at that because that's really sad.
Tragedy.
So Luke's family's dead and stuff, and then old Ben Kenobi's like, Luke, dude, the Force. And so he gives him a lightsaber, and then Luke goes into a cantina. I feel like I'm missing something in the movie, but
Keep going.
but
You're
that's
not, you're
okay.
good.
Keep going.
Okay, so
You
Luke's
got this right.
in a cantina, and then Han shoots first. Because if Han doesn't shoot first, Han's a bitch. But Han's not a bitch. So Han
Who's
shoots
Han?
first.
Han Solo, the bounty hunter.
Han Solo, the bounty hunter. He's kind of like a hoss. You know, he's like an awesome person. So Han Solo, the bounty hunter. Luke and Ben get Han Solo, the bounty hunter, to like fly them to Alderaan. Alderaan. Yeah, Alderaan.
You're right. It's
To the Big Al.
Aldarian.
They get him to fly him to the Big Al.
Aldarian.
Aldarian? Okay. Well, they get him to fly to Aldarian. And then they go to Aldarian. And then Han is just like, I don't like lightsabers. I like blasters and shit. And so Han takes his blaster and he's like, blasters, dude.
And then Alderaan.
And
goes
Luke,
up.
shut up, Scotty. I'm telling the story.
Alright, okay.
And then, and then once Han's like blasters and stuff, and Luke's just like, dude, I blocked a fake bolt. Then they get to Alderaan, and it's like gone. And so they're just like, oh my god, there's boulders there. And then they're looking, and there's like a moon and stuff, but it's not really a moon because it's a space station. And then Ben Kenobi's just like, that's no moon, and they're all just like, nigger, please, it's a space station. And so they go to the space station.
light television watching it.
I'm sorry,
I'm tired.
I shouldn't have said the N-word. I mean,
I'm ready to go
black
to bed.
people, please. It's a space station.
Can we go home so I can go to bed?
And so we'll go home soon. I just had to finish telling this great story. And so they go into the space station, and Ben Kenobi's like, I'm gonna go shut off the shield stuff. And so Ben Kenobi goes and shuts off the shield stuff. Well, Luke and Han, they just hide in a cargo container, which I'm not sure what it's used for, but it's probably used for slaves. So they use the thing for slaves and hide themselves, and then whack a bunch of stormtroopers. Then, oh, I almost forgot my favorite part. This is where they go in the trash pile and they rescue Princess Leia. But they actually rescue Princess Leia before the trash pile. So they're like, bro, I want to have a conversation. There's a reactor leak on Aisle 4. And so they're just like, there's a reactor leak. And then they're just like, who is this? And then Han, Mr. Solo, shoots the radio thing. And then they're just like, whoa. So they go and rescue Leia, who's been tortured, because I forgot to mention that Darth Vader killed the Death Star. I mean, killed Alderaan. Darth Vader's on the Death Star. He didn't kill the Death Star. He killed Alderaan. And so anyways, they get Leia, and they're in the trash compactor and stuff. And then they escape, because the tentacle monster that lives in the trash compactor doesn't kill them. So anyways, so they get out of the trash compactor, and then they like fly on their ships to Dagobah. Wrong movie. Just kidding. They don't go to Dagobah. They go to Yavin. And you know what Yavin is great for? Hiding rebels, because it's a small moon. and so they go to Yavin, and then they like fly over like vroom, and then some dudes just like, and then they land. And then once they land, they're like R2-D2. I totally forgot about R2-D2. At the beginning of the movie, there's an attack on Princess Leia's ship, and R2-D2 survives by sending them to Tatooine, where they originally. Padme's not till later. Until they originally. So R2-D2 and C4PO, they go.
C3PO.
C2PO. C3PO. C3PO goes and then they meet Lars and Olmec, whatever her name is, and then they become their droids. And then Luke takes them to Tatooine. They're already on Tatooine, but he takes them to the cantina. Anyways, though, back to now. So they take them to now, and then they're on Yavin now.
Yeah, we're ready to pay if that's possible.
And so on Yavin.
I'll go ahead and take care of that for you.
Thank you.
So on Yavin, they're like, bro, the Death Star is killing us. And so they're like, we need to kill the Death Star. And so they go, and they're
You're
like,
getting into the Empire Strikes Back, and that's not fair.
They kill the Death Star in the
You're
fourth
not
movie.
Fair.
I'm not, but okay. So they go like, dude, we have to kill the Death Star. And so they're like, we should just like put our torpedoes in its thermal ports, bro. And so that's what they do. And so Luke and a bunch of his friends go onto the Death Star, and they're just like, vroom. There's only like 30 of them. And so then they go onto the Death Star.
Yeah, I can.
They go into the Death Star.
You're awesome when they give you.
And they shoot its torpedoes down the thermal exhaust ports, and then the Death Star. Oh, and Han comes in, and he's just like, "Yahoo! You got him, kid!" And then Han blows up the Death Star. Han doesn't blow up the Death Star. Han blows up the TIE fighters that are stopping Luke from blowing up the Death Star. And then Luke blows up the Death Star. And then afterwards, everyone gets medals.
Here you go.
And that's basically the whole movie.
Oh, sorry, I'm
Fantastic.
sorry.
Fantastic.
That's basically